Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. Breaking now. Iran has publicly tested the long-range Khorramshahr ballistic missile, a move that has put Israel and regional capitals on high alert and deepened fears of a wider escalation across the Middle East. In the next 20 minutes we'll break down exactly what was launched, when and where it matters, who's reacting, and what this could mean for regional stability and global security. Stay with us. According to state and international reporting, Iran conducted a test of one of its long-range Khorramshahr missiles in late September 2025. Satellite imagery and official statements point to activity at Iran's missile and space facilities consistent with a major test launch. Iran's state outlets framed the event as a demonstration of deterrence and strategic reach. Israel, regional U.S. partners, and Western capitals described it as provocative and destabilizing at a delicate moment. The Khorramshahr is a family of Iranian medium to long-range ballistic missiles that Iran has been developing and testing for years. Official Iranian figures and Western analysts place the Khorramshahr's range in the roughly 1,0008 2,500 kilometer band, depending on variant, enough to cover Israel and large parts of the eastern Mediterranean from Iranian-launched positions. Iran has shown multiple Khorramshahr variants and publicly touted increased payload capacity, improved engines and faster readiness times for newer versions. Independent analysis from defense think tanks and open-source databases warn that some Iranian claims they lack multiple independently targetable warheads. They should be treated cautiously until verified. For Israel, the Khorramshahr family is squarely within range. Israeli defense planners have long treated Iran's ballistic missile program as one of the most direct strategic threats to the homeland, and the recent test prompted immediate briefings and heightened alert levels in Israeli defense circles. Israeli officials have repeatedly said they will not tolerate an Iranian capability that materially changes the balance of deterrence. In response to tests like this, Israel typically ramps up aerial surveillance, bolsters defensive missile deployments, and signals readiness to retaliate against Iranian assets if a threshold of red lines is crossed. Iran has a track record of publicizing missile upgrades, sometimes with dramatic language. Tehran's claims about the Khorramshahr 4 and later variants describe improved engines, hypergolic fuels that shorten launch preparation, and extended ranges. Independent experts note, however, that advertised ranges and warhead figures can differ from operational performance. Open sources say the missile's design is derived from earlier North Korean models and that some of the multiple warhead language probably refers to submunitions rather than true MIRV capability. That distinction matters. Submunitions and MIRVs have very different technical and political implications. The strategic consequences extend beyond Israeli borders. A Khorramshahr capable of striking across the eastern Mediterranean affects NATO partners, shipping lanes in the eastern Mediterranean, and even bases used by U.S. and allied forces. Regional states such as Saudi Arabia, the UAE and Turkey monitor ballistic developments closely because increased Iranian missile reach can change threat perceptions, escalation dynamics, and deterrence calculations across the Gulf and Levant. In recent weeks, analysts have warned that Iran's missile posture played a key role in shortening and shaping recent flare-ups in the region, a dynamic that could repeat. Israel's options are familiar but consequential: deterrent signaling, precision strikes on launch infrastructure, cyber operations, or coordinated diplomatic pressure with partners. The public nature of the test complicates discreet responses and forces choices into the open. Israeli strategy historically mixes visible military preparedness with targeted covert actions to degrade capabilities. Any kinetic response would risk widening clashes with Iran and its allied militias across the region. Expect Israel to intensify intelligence collection, keep missile defense systems at maximum readiness, and coordinate with the United States and regional allies. Western capitals have criticized recent Iranian missile activity, framing it as inconsistent with the escalation and, in some cases, in tension with negotiations over nuclear and arms control. The U.S. and European partners typically call for restraint and may consider additional sanctions or diplomatic steps, though such measures are politically fraught and slow to produce immediate change. Meanwhile, Russia, China and some regional actors may take a more cautious or neutral public line, focusing on stability and avoiding direct confrontation. The result is a fragmented international response that Iran can exploit to push forward technical advances without paying a single, unified diplomatic price. This test sits within a steady multi-year pattern. Iran has invested heavily in ballistic missiles as an asymmetric deterrent since the 1990s, acquiring technology transfers, adapting designs, and building launch and storage infrastructure. The Khorramshahr is one of several systems Tehran has modernized. Others include the Sigil, Kibar and various cruise missiles. Over time Iran has improved mobility, concealment through underground depots, and responsiveness, all intended to complicate preemptive counter-strike options against it. Analysts warn these programmatic trends are more strategically significant than any single test. At the tactical level, missile tests and military escalations can imperil civilian air traffic, commercial shipping, and populations near contested borders. Governments typically issue notices to airmen and maritime warnings ahead of planned launches, but undeclared activity, which international imagery sometimes reveals after the fact, creates risk and uncertainty for civilian operators. In any sharp escalation, humanitarian consequences can grow quickly, and commercial actors often reroute to avoid danger zones. Escalation risk rises if a test is misinterpreted as an imminent offensive move, if a response targets a facility in a third country dragging allies in, if proxy groups reciprocate in neighboring theaters, or if an accident or targeting error causes unintended casualties. Each pathway multiplies danger because multiple actors, a state and non-state, have incentives to retaliate, signal strength, or exploit chaos. The worst-case scenarios are hard to predict but easy to imagine. Localized strikes melting into wider exchanges that draw in allied forces and disrupt global energy or shipping markets. Keep an eye on 5 indicators: official Iranian statements and technical footage, satellite imagery of launch sites, Israeli Defense Forces and government briefings, U.S. regional force posture and diplomatic messaging, and any sudden strikes on facilities linked to the program. Changes in any of these signals could indicate either de-escalation or a move toward direct confrontation. The test of a Khorramshahr-class missile is more than a technical demonstration, it's a political signal. Iran is showing it can project power, deter adversaries, and raise the stakes in a way that complicates diplomatic options. For Israel and its partners, the dilemma is balancing credible deterrence without triggering a wider war. The international community faces a familiar paradox: sanctions, diplomatic pressure and calls for restraint matter, but so does credible defense and a calibrated political strategy that reduces incentives for dangerous brinkmanship. We'll continue to track developments and bring you verified updates as they come in. If you found this breakdown helpful, like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss our next briefing. Drop questions in the comments. What do you think will happen next? Will this test alter Israel's calculus, or will it remain a dangerous but contained episode? Tell us below and we'll include the best comments in our follow-up. Stay safe, stay informed. Reporting for this video draws on satellite imagery and reporting from major news agencies, defense think tanks and open-source missile databases to verify technical claims and to provide context. For deeper reading, see our linked sources in the description.